Let's talk about your Lions there, man. I mean, where are you at? Like all these years I've known you, all these years that you followed the Lions, of course, they've been primarily a hugely dysfunctional and disappointing team. So how does it feel now that they are? I mean, let's put this in context, right? The great Ollie Connolly, friend of the show, Ollie Connolly, one of the best NFL brains out there, writes regularly for The Guardian and wrote a piece quite recently looking at all the contenders, Super Bowl contenders, and outlined their biggest weakness, right? And quite a short list. And on that list was the Detroit Lions. The fact that a really, really top NFL journo is looking midway through the season at the Lions as potential Super Bowl contenders. And how does that feel?
Yeah, it's strange. And I did sort of start to believe. I mean, we've got to talk about, as everyone knows, the whole gulf between the AFC and the NFC. So, I mean, they're probably going to win if the Josh Dobbs revival at Minnesota doesn't work.
Yeah, because you got the Vikings twice, haven't you?
Yeah, but I think it's been the first time Detroit will win that division in 30 odd years, whatever it is. And then who are the big teams? You know, Eagles, obviously. Now there's a question mark over the 49ers. Seahawks, possibly. And the
just been absolutely dismantled by
the Ravens. and the Cowboys. But the key thing was we played the Ravens as well, and they absolutely destroyed us, and they destroyed the Seahawks. And our previous loss was to the Seahawks in a tight game, and I was so impressed by that Ravens side. They made us look average, and how they're not being talked of.
I agree totally.
One of probably the best side in the AFC.
I think they might be the best team in football right now. On the Monday show with Iron Mike, we were talking about the Dolphins' loss, obviously in Frankfurt to the Chiefs, and comparing them to the Cowboys in so far as on their day they can really turn it on, they can steamroll average, mediocre teams, but they come a cropper against the heavyweights. Right, it's the book on both of them right now, I guess. The Ravens, conversely, their record against teams with winning records this season is 3-0. I mean, they're just clinical against, so far anyway, against the top teams, against the contending teams. But we know as well, so much of this about timing it right. I mean, how many Super Bowl winning seasons have been about a team getting on a roll at the right time? So you just got to have a seat at the table, I guess. And say in the NFC, I mean, in the playoffs, it's just, there are so many teams that can beat each other on their day. I mean, you got to feel, if you get in there, particularly if you win the division, maybe even if you rock, because I was looking at your run in, right? You've got the Bears twice. The Vikings love Josh Dobbs and that whole story, but you know, probably will kind of regress, I should say. Packers are terrible. You got the Broncos, who are terrible. I mean, you could.
It's the easiest running in. I've been sort of following. I supported the team in the 90s, and I stopped really, and I came back to supporting them when I did Americanage. 15 years ago now.
Yeah, about 10 years. Yeah, got it. It was all getting on for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is the golden opportunity. This is the best opportunity. A, fixtures wise. It's B, the NFC has, like we said before, like Giants, Cardinals, Panthers, and Bears and Packers. So you could say maybe the Patriots. I mean, but the Patriots are probably better than all of those, I reckon.
Yeah.
You've got like five, and if the Patriots are the worst team in the AFC, all you've got to do is be average to qualify for the playoffs in the NFC. And I've never known it this bad. This disparity is huge, I think. So yes, it's a golden opportunity. There aren't really any huge weak points to the Lions team. Maybe the secondary if they've got injuries, but you would have said before, Goff's a weakness. He's playing his best ever football.
Where would you have Goff? Because that was something that in the piece I wrote about. It's for USA Sports. Ollie will whack a link in the show notes at some point. If it's not in this, it will be in the Edge Rush episode. I mentioned Goff, and I felt harsh saying this in that it was obviously looking at contenders for head coaching gigs, as I say, next season. So obviously there's going to be a lot of attention once again on
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, thank you, Ben Johnson. And credit has got to go to him, right? Because Goff, and another story we love, like the Antonio Pierce story, the Josh Dobbs story. It's great to see Goff this rehabilitation of a player, a really maligned player. Like, I'm rooting for him, but he's what, at best a top 12 quarterback? Or do you think I'm being unfair?
No, I think you're right. I mean, Stafford, having watched, I just watched every single Detroit Lions game, and Stafford was one of the most talented players we had. He can make any throw. He's a bit of a gunslinger, but the raw talent is huge there. Goff is not that player, but Goff has got something that any quarterback would dream of. You've got there's the Eagles, then we probably got, top 3 offensive line, and they're all healthy now. You've got receivers. Well, our receivers were bad before, but now you've got, I say, Amon-Ra St. Brown is an amazing slot receiver. His route running is brilliant. He gets in, so he's got a brilliant slot receiver to go to, and an intelligent, hard-working slot receiver. Sam LaPorta has been an absolute revelation at tight end. And then you've got Josh Reynolds, an old receiver they brought in because he had worked with him when he was at the Rams, who's sort of a great go-to receiver. And you've got all these sort of other minor receivers. Khalif Raymond.
People Jones is a good pickup, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the only one. So I was watching something about Jared Goff passing. He's very accurate. He's not a great improviser.
Yeah.
I think he's great if he knows the plays. If you're there at the exact point in the route, he will find you. He'll be accurate enough to find you. And a good case in point here is one of our draft picks is a receiver called Jameson Williams, who is like a speedster. I think he was from Alabama or something like that. He was like a 19th pick in the first round last year. And he's got, let's just call them character issues, where he gambling and he just doesn't run routes properly. And you could see that Goff's passer rating is terrible to Jameson Williams because he's just missing the routes by, as ever, any quarterback, he's missing them by 3 yards or 2 yards, or just. And if the receivers are off, then Goff's game falls apart. What I'm trying to say is he has got a brilliant setup, and he's got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs as running back. So I think any mid-level quarterback would thrive on the Lions offense with Ben Johnson, who's a very intelligent numbers guy, offensive coordinator, creative offensive coordinator. So I think, and I won't take it away from Goff. He's playing well, but I still don't have, you know what I mean? You've got players you absolutely trust, and I'm still not completely.
There's that fear, isn't there? That is, I know you've been say it's not a divisional round. Yeah, you could just see a really smart defensive coordinator just making his life hell.